So taking over city-states like that is one valid path that you can take in a game. It's a slightly risky path because if you do that to too many city-states, eventually the rest of them are kind of going to get pissed at you and they're going to band together and try to attack you. So if I took over Edinburgh here, if I decide to take over Oslo and Singapore here, eventually the remaining ones are just going to get very angry with me and they'll go to a state where I'll lose a lot of influence with them, and they'll declare permanent war with me. When a city-state declares permanent war with you because you've pissed it off enough, you've attacked it a couple of times, or you just took over too many city-states, permanent war, you cannot make peace with them, you cannot raise your influence with gold anymore. They are just locked into hating you forever. So it's slightly risky to take over city-states. It can be a very good move if they have some resources nearby that you absolutely need. That's what I had to do this time. They have some iron here too. So iron and dyes, I just had to take this over. It's a little close to Osaka, but still, it's 3 hexes away. It's not that close. It's fairly well located. It is also a maritime city. It's a coastal city because it's got access to the ocean here, so eventually I'll be able to build some coastal units. But so I took over Edinburgh, and that was a quest that Bucharest had given me. City-states can give you sort of missions or quests, and if you complete those missions and quests, you gain a lot of influence with that city-state. So Bucharest had a dispute of some sort with Edinburgh. I don't know the details. Probably someone stole someone else's wife, or stole someone else's donkey, and then bad blood from there. And so by taking out Edinburgh, I got a lot of influence with Bucharest. I believe I was up to 80 influence with them when I took out Bucharest. So now I'm down to 65 because, again, Bucharest is a hostile city-state. I'm losing 1.5 influence with them per turn, which is a lot. I'm going to need to give them some gold or to complete some more quests for them to get my influence up if I want to keep their bonus. And right now they are giving me a significant amount of resources and culture. They are giving me right now 12 culture per turn. If you look here, I'm making 38 per turn, so that's like almost a 50% boost. 26 by my cities and 12 from the city-state. That's a huge boost. I want to keep that because I want to keep getting policies. They're also giving me horses. They have 2 resources of horses that they're giving me, and they're giving me gold. This is great because I don't have access to gold in my empire, so that gold is making my empire very happy right now. If I lose the gold from them, I'm going to go down to 10 happiness. It's a lot less. And so that's it. When you become an ally of a city-state, you have view of what they see. So you can see that they have units just like me. They have a little crossbowman here, and they have a little knight down here. They also have a worker, which is working to improve the land around their city. And their borders are growing. So their borders grew towards Rome because they kind of wanted to get this line here, and now they're going to grow on this side here and get the rest of the resources here. Now Rome, which is an ally of that I've had for a while, we have a Pact of Cooperation, I believe, was kind of pissed when I got to be an ally of Bucharest because Bucharest is really close to them, and they said, look, back off. Bucharest is in my sphere of influence. You don't need to worry yourself about them. We'll take care of them. It will be a real shame if anyone stepped on anyone else's toes. So the Romans kind of trying to bargain to play hardball here. But I mean, I didn't even know there was a quest to get influence with them. And so I got allied status with them kind of unwittingly. There's another status that you can be with a city-state below allies. So allies requires you to have 60 influence or more. I have 65. If you have between 30 and 60 influence with them, you are friends. And when you're friends, they still give you some cultures or military units or food, depending on their trait. But they will not give you your resources. They will not give you any of the resources that they have, and they will not go to war. For example, if you go to war with someone else, they will not help you in that, and they will not give you any resources, and you will not get a view of their territory if you do that. Other things that you can do with city-states, so I'm going to go in the options here. You can provide a gift of gold, which will give you more influence. So for example, 250 gold will give you 30 influence, which will be enough to be friends, but just for one turn. 500 gold will give you 60 influence, which will be enough to be allies, but just for one turn again. And then 1,000 gold will give you 130 influence. So you can see that as you get more gold, the gifts of gold become more efficient. in terms of influence. Because here, you're giving twice the gold, you're getting twice the influence, but eventually here at the 1,000, you're getting more than twice the influence that you would get. So 500 times 2 is 1,000, but 60 times 2 is 120, so you're getting a little bonus influence down here, which is always good. You can also give them units. The units don't give a lot of influence to city-states, but if you see that you have an allied city-state, it doesn't have much of an army, you want to boost it, you can give them units. The units will disappear and then eventually make their way to their territory and they'll get there. So it can be useful to kind of boost an allied city-state's army, but it won't give you a lot of influence. I guess if you have a unit that you don't really need anymore, that you're just going to delete anyway, you can give them to them. You can also declare war on city-states, obviously, if you just want to attack them and take them over, like I did with Edinburgh. But you won't. I mean, if that's what you want to do, if you want to take over a lot of city-states near your empire, okay. I usually prefer to make them my allies. Taking over Edinburgh was a very special case for me. And you can also opt to pledge to protect them. So what that does is that it lets other civilizations know that if they attack the city-state, they'll have to go through you first. And so it doesn't give any influence with the city-state. It doesn't do anything special, except that it will kind of make other city-states back off. Other civilizations, back off that city-state. If you have some clout, if you have one city in the corner of the map, nobody cares about you. Your pledge to protect the city-state will not influence other civilizations very much. So that's it. I'm not allied with any other city-states right now. I'm kind of looking at Oslo and Singapore here because they are maritime city-states, and this one here is irrational. This one here is hostile. So I'm probably thinking of becoming friends with Singapore first. I mean, it's too bad because they have this one also has incense, which I've already got 2 incense resources. I don't need that, and this one here has dyes. I already got dyes. I don't need more dyes, but oh well. And they don't have any other resources. No, that's it. But still, I mean, extra food's always nice. It makes your cities grow larger, faster. So that's it for city-states for the moment. I'm not going to go into any more depth with them. That's pretty much all there is to city-states. You can either take them over or make them your friends. And that's it. But now, becoming friends with a city-state is fairly expensive. 1,000 gold, that's not... doesn't really grow on trees, that kind of money. So I'm going to talk now about the economy. And this is a very large topic to cover, so this is going to take a bit of time. You can see right here, this is telling me exactly, I have 134 gold in my treasury. I'm making 66 gold per turn. The reason that I'm making so much gold per turn is because I am in a golden age. Golden ages, you can read the description here, it says that while in a golden age, every tile in your empire that produces at least 1 production or 1 gold produces 1 extra. So if you look here at this wheat tile, for example, it is currently producing 4 food, 2 production, and 2 gold. Usually when I'm not in a golden age, it produces 1 hammer and 1 gold, but now because of that, it has boosted my production and my commerce, my gold input. Golden ages are very powerful, and there's a couple of ways to trigger golden ages. The main one is that you, every turn that you have bonus happiness, that bonus happiness is stored in it's called a happiness bucket, which is a very beautiful metaphor. But basically, that excess happiness that you get every turn is stored, and eventually once you reach a milestone, kind of like the cultural milestone, it triggers a golden age, and that golden age lasts 10 turns. So it says right now here that I'm in a golden age. If I weren't in a golden age, it would list how much bonus happiness I have right now stored in my bucket and what the milestone is for reaching a golden age. So that means that there is kind of a reason for getting a lot of those resources and getting a lot of happiness producing buildings, because it means you can get in a golden age faster. And when you're in a golden age, I mean, 66 gold per turn is a lot for the medieval era. That's a fairly significant amount of gold, and all that production means that you can build buildings and units very fast. So for example, I could crank out a samurai, which is a long swordsman. It's a very powerful unit. It's my unique unit as a Japanese. I could crank one out in 8 turns. That's very quick for that turn that time in the game. I could crank out a temple in 4 turns using this city, or I could crank some wonders out in very quickly, very short time too. The Hagia Sophia in 15 turns. That's very good, and I don't have that many wonder boosting policies or anything else. So that's very, very fast, and it's mostly because of my Golden Age. So let's see, I am making also 35 from the trade routes. That gold is not boosted by the Golden Age, so you can tell that trade routes are very important for making more gold. And usually that gold that you get can be used in a few different ways, and the earlier you use it, the better it is, because you don't need to accumulate lots of gold. There's really no reason to accumulating it. You're better off spending it and making use of it and putting it in action, so to speak, rather than just hoarding it, because there's very little point to hoarding it. I mean, you might want to keep a little buffer, keep a little safety fund or whatever, just in case you need to get some quick influence or you need to purchase a building very quickly. But overall, you want to spend your gold within reason, of course, to get something out of it. And there are a few ways in which you can use your gold. The first way that you can use your gold, and this is a way that I use very early, is to purchase a tile. Now, usually the empire's borders, your city's borders, expand by getting just more culture per turn. You can see right now that I'm getting 15 culture per turn in Kyoto. That's a significant amount at this point in the game, and that's because I built the Stonehenge Wonder here, which gives me +8. That's a huge amount of culture at that point. So my borders expand. Every time you expand your borders, it takes more culture for the next expansion. I'm up now to 210 culture required to get that next border expansion. But it's still at 15 culture per turn. It's coming very fast. It's going to come in 7 turns. And it's going to pick one of those pink highlighted tiles. The other way you can expand your empire's border is to simply shell out some gold for a tile. So if you click on buy tile here, it will list all the tiles that are still not within reach, that are still not within your empire's border, but they are within the city's range. And so purchasing those tiles, any of those tiles, is going to make that tile instantly part of my empire. So if you settle a city near a resource, but you need to get that resource very quickly, using some gold at the beginning of the game, especially to purchase that tile right away, is extremely useful. You can even use that to purchase land near someone else. So for example, I settled Kagoshima here near the French. If I had spare gold, I could buy all this land here, and once this land is mine, nobody else can take it. In previous Civilization games, you could kind of wage war with the border, so if a city had a lot more culture than another one, its borders could eventually eat into the other empire's borders. But that's not the case in Civ 5. Once you've got a tile inside your borders, it cannot be taken over. A couple of exceptions later on in the game. I'll get into that in the late game video. But so early on, this is a very powerful tool. For example, I settled Kagoshima here, and I had access to these 6 tiles directly around. But here there's marble, and marble is an excellent resource to get. Right now in my Golden Age, it's giving me 2 food, 2 hammers, and 4 gold. That's huge. It's a very significant amount. And marble, being a luxury resource, is always great to have. So what I did was I settled Kagoshima here, and then I just bought that tile right away. It wasn't very expensive. It was something like 70 gold, I believe. And so buying that tile gave me access right away to that marble, a huge advantage. The other way you can use gold is to purchase things. If you go in the city screen here, you can see that right now my production, I am making a market. It's going to take 8 turns because I'm getting 9 production per turn. But if I wanted a unit or a building right away, I could elect to spend some gold on it. And so if you click purchase here, the little button next to change production, you are going to get a list of all the units and buildings that are available to you right now and of how much gold you need to spend to purchase that unit. And when you purchase a unit, it doesn't get in the queue. It doesn't replace whatever's in your queue right now. So my market would just continue producing at the same rate that it is, but it would instantly finish that building or instantly spawn that unit for me. So that can be very powerful if you get to a new tech that unlocks a new building type that you really want to get in that city right away. If you have the spare gold to buy that building, you can get it. And it's not that much gold. If you look here, for example, a market boosts the gold that this city produces by 25%. That's a very good building to get as soon as it's unlocked, because then it allows you to get a lot more gold, to get a lot more units out in the field, and eventually to purchase more things. So if I wanted right now to buy that market, it's 550 gold, which is not that much gold that early. I'm at 134, but I've been spending my gold quite a bit. If I decide to save for a little bit, I could buy a market very easily.